How's it going, everybody? Cameron here with Canadian Gamer coming at you with another video. Hope you're all doing well. Like I mentioned the last couple of weeks here, I've been really busy, so I've had to sort of slow down as far as content is concerned. I can only put out a video a week, which is fine because it gives me more time to think about what it is that I'm going to talk about. And I've also been slowly trying to improve my production values. Like I said, I've got a new table here that you guys can't really see, but yeah, so look out for some more content, some interesting content and topics in the near future. And that brings us to today's topic, Sonic the Hedgehog. Now, before we get into that, I just want to mention we've gotten a lot of snow within the last couple of days. We got like 30 to 40 centimeters of snow up in my region. And the snow plows, the machines, all the workers out there are still working as we speak to clear up the roads, and we're apparently getting hit with another 30 to 40 centimeters of snow today. So yeah, I'm going to be outside shoveling for the remainder of the evening. Also, as well, this time of year, when you're in the midst of the dead of the winter, sometimes you get some really cool sundowns and some sunrises, dusk, dawn, whatever you want to call it. And I took a couple of really neat pictures of the moon as well the other night coming up, as you can see here. The moon was like a gigantic, like an orange ball, and I wasn't able to capture any images of when it was coming up, but I did manage to capture these images here, so I just wanted to share that with you for those who are interested. So anyways, nonetheless, on with today's topic. Really off the cuff here, but I wanted to talk about Sonic the Hedgehog. Now, I know this topic's been beaten to death, at least the IP has, but I wanted to put my own spin on it. I feel like Sonic the Hedgehog right now, as far as the IP is concerned, is more popular than it has ever been before, and I want to just elaborate on that. So back in the early 90s, when I first played Sonic the Hedgehog on the Sega Genesis, I was blown away. It was a technical showpiece. That type of game is a packing game. It was really impressive back in the day. Looking back on it now, I don't think you can really top Super Mario World as one of the best packing games of all time. Sonic the Hedgehog, to me personally, I'm not a huge fan. I find it has limited replay value. I'm just not a huge fan of that style of 2D platform. I like it. Don't get me wrong, but I'm not really a Sonic kind of guy. That being said, Sonic the Hedgehog was pretty popular in the gaming industry, obviously, in the early to mid 90s. Tapered off a bit and came back around the Xbox 360 era. A lot of newer games developed with Sonic the Hedgehog. And I find now, maybe it's because of the movies, and there's been 3 of them now. Maybe you guys will disagree with me, but I almost find if you can just take off your gaming hat and put on, I don't know, your other hat that you have, your adult hat or your children's hat, because you have to remember the children of today weren't even born when the Sega Genesis was around, when Sonic the Hedgehog was popular back in the early 90s. These kids that go to see Sonic the Hedgehog in the movie theater, you gotta wonder if they even understand where Sonic the Hedgehog came from, right? Let's be honest. If you're talking to a kid who's 8, 9, 10 years old, they weren't around back then. They don't understand probably what a Sega Genesis is or a Sega Master System. Hell, they don't even know what an Xbox 360 is. But I'm telling you, you go into Walmart, you go into what we have, Dollarama up here in Canada, you go into any big box retailer, and there's a lot of Sonic the Hedgehog merchandise. A lot. More than Mario. And I think maybe it has a lot to... It definitely has a lot to do with the movies. There's a mass appeal to the movies. And I feel like that has really pushed Sonic the Hedgehog, the IP, into the mainstream. And the reason why I say that is because, yeah, sure, Sonic was in the mainstream to a certain degree, but not like it is now with the movies and everything. I go into Walmart and I see all these toys, Sonic the Hedgehog toys, And you can tell it's molded based on Sonic from the movie, which is fine. But like, I have to stop myself because I look at the stuff in the store and I'm like, oh man, that would look pretty neat in my Sega room that I have, my Genesis room. I have to stop myself. I can't be going crazy with that stuff, especially since, like I said, I'm not the biggest Sonic the Hedgehog fan. But like, even when I was buying these Funko Pops, I couldn't help myself. I have 3 of them now. This one here is like a limited edition. I don't think you can get Mario Funko Pops, but like you started getting Funko Pops, you've really pushed yourself into the mainstream. So I think Sonic the Hedgehog has become more than just a video game IP at this point. I think it's become much, much, much more than that. Much more than that. I think the movies is what really put it over the top. And you're seeing a lot of other IPs out there now that are jumping on that sort of bandwagon. But I'm telling you, Sega or Sammy, whoever owns Sega now, they're capitalizing on it too. You're seeing a lot of older Sonic the Hedgehog games being re-released as HD remasters. Games that we never really thought about in the grand scheme, like the Sonic games that came out for the 360 and the PS3. I don't think anybody was really clamoring for those to be remastered, right? But I think because of the movies, there's a lot of people that are interested in these remasters, whereas if the movies had not been released, I don't know if there would have been as much of an audience. And now there's a new Sonic Team Racing, like a Worlds Racing, a new racing game coming out in a couple of months as well. So it's crazy. There's a lot going on in the world of Sonic the Hedgehog. Absolutely. And I just feel like it's bigger than it has ever been before. Back in the day, you wouldn't walk into a big box retailer and see a bunch of Sonic the Hedgehog paraphernalia on the shelves. But like I said, you go into Dollarama now, there's Sonic the Hedgehog toys, plushies, trading cards, soft drinks, you name it. You go into Walmart, Sonic the Hedgehog t-shirts, Sonic the Hedgehog running shoes, like Sonic the Hedgehog backpacks. It's insane. It's absolutely insane. I don't have a problem with it. I think it's cool. I think as someone who was around back then, for me to go into the store and see something that reminds me of the early 90s, I think that's really cool. But I think a lot of the parents and the kids that are into Sonic the Hedgehog now, they don't really understand the origins of Sonic. They're just looking at Sonic as the guy in the movies, and that's totally understandable. I get that. And again, I'm posting this video not to bitch or complain, just merely an observation. And if Ken's Games Collection is watching this, or anyone else is watching this and you want to chime in on it, go ahead, feel free to chime in on it. But I feel like maybe this is a bold statement, but like, again, not looking at it just from the video games perspective, looking at it holistically, the entertainment business and everything. I feel like Sonic is bigger than Mario right now. I do. I just feel like that. It's everywhere. I can't escape Sonic the Hedgehog. Nintendo's partially to blame for that, because Nintendo's very particular with regards to giving out their intellectual property to third party to make things, right? To a certain degree, right? That's how I feel about it. Maybe I'm wrong on that, but I feel like I'm seeing a lot more Sonic the Hedgehog paraphernalia in the stores versus Mario. So, yeah, I don't know. What are your guys' thoughts on the matter? Do you feel like it's a little bit of Sonic the Hedgehog overload? Are you burned out on Sonic the Hedgehog? Are you happy to see this nostalgic piece of gaming history be brought up, a phoenix rising from the ashes, and the popularity? Do you agree with me? Do you think that Sonic the Hedgehog in 2025, not just the character, I'm talking about the IP, the intellectual property, do you think that it's bigger now than it has ever been before. Because I feel like that. I feel like Sonic the Hedgehog, as big as popular as the Sega Genesis was in the early '90s, I still think it was a bit niche. I still think it was a little bit niche. It was not like it is right now. It's no longer taboo to talk about Sonic the Hedgehog, because when you talk about Sonic the Hedgehog, you're not just referencing an old game from the '90s. You're talking about something that's modern. The movies, like I said, and Sonic the Hedgehog is obviously going to be Sammy's bread and butter for the foreseeable future, and I can't blame them. We're probably going to get a lot more Sonic the Hedgehog movies, TV shows, and video games alike. So yeah, just a mere observation. Just wanted to get it out there. Miscellaneous ramblings from yours truly. Let me know in the comments below, guys. What are your thoughts on this topic? And I'll be back with something a little bit later. Thanks so much for watching. Have a good day.